Hey y'all, Nesso here talking about the Specters of the Rail update. The update has brought about a bunch of UI updates along with an overhaul for the star chart, Archwing, Void missions, and the release of Cat Bros. The main UI changes are of course the marketplace, providing better filters as well as a search function, and some changed prices for things like Forma and Platinum to credits. As for the star chart, it's been completely changed with some of the planet levels and certain missions being completely different. Namely Draco being a level 15 to 17 mission now that is also a survival, as well as the Void being accessible from 4 different planets, difficulty being based on which planet you enter from. I still have issues finding anything, but I'm sure it's just an issue of just adjusting to it not being a list anymore. They have also added junctions, which have objectives around the planet that need to be completed to gain access to new planets, unless you previously cleared them before the rework. Once the objectives are completed, you need to fight the Spectre, relaxing in the junction. I personally think the junctions are a nice addition as it allows newer players to gain easy blueprints as well as spacing out quests throughout the star chart. Now as for the Void missions, Void keys have been completely removed and are more or less replaced with Void relics for endless mission rewards. These relics contain the loot we usually get from the Void missions, but to actually acquire the Void parts you will need to run a Void Fisher mission, allowing you to select one of your relics and choose a reward at the end of the mission. From the missions, you will also acquire Void Traces, which can be used to upgrade your relics to improve the chances of the rarer rewards. This can be done in the new Void Relic area on your Lisette, which is acquired after completing the Mars Junction. While my initial impressions of the new system was rather negative due to ducat farming, you are able to improve the chances at rarer drops with a relic by refining it using the Void Traces. This allows the rewards to be most likely those with the initial lower chances, fixing the RNG issues many people have when farming for specific parts. But this does require more than 100 Void Traces to guarantee those drops, considering that you get about 6 to 10 Void Traces per Void Fisher mission. It is another grind in the system. My mind is not really set as to whether the system is really a good or bad thing. Perhaps when the new Prime stuff comes out, we'll be able to see the benefits of this new system. Now for the Archwing overhaul. Archwing has been upgraded to be as disorienting as possible with the ability to fly upside down. But in all seriousness, movement has been drastically changed, making it feel completely different. Personally, I have not been able to adjust to flying with this new system, often banging into walls and just being completely disoriented while aiming. This is even more painfully apparent when doing the new Rush mission type, which involves going through the map as fast as possible to get to the transport ships. As for the new Pursuit mission, the new aiming system does make it easier to keep track of the ship while it is moving around, but once you take out the ship thrusters and are knocked out and stationary, it can be disorienting once you lose track of it while being swarmed. Overall, I'm not a fan of the new Archwing, but it's not a part of the game that I like to begin with. Now onto Cavits. This was probably the content I was looking most forward to, despite knowing it wouldn't be much different from Kubros. But to breeding them, aside from different fur patterns, Cavits can also have different tails and ears. As of the moment, there are 2 kinds of cat bros available, the Smita and the Adarza breed. My first cat bro was a Smita, and its ability involves stealthing itself and sending out a decoy, and Charm. Charm is a bit hard to describe, but it can provide multiple buffs from 1 instant reload to faster fire rate, 8 of any resource material in the mission, and 30 seconds of 200% crit chance with any form of damage. Pretty strong. As for the second breed, I was lucky enough to get a decent looking Adarza breed on my 3rd try. I really don't know how to say that name, Adarza. Its 2 abilities are reflecting damage back to the enemies and an AoE crit chance increase to any nearby Warframes. Overall, the buffs provided by the Smita cat is very nice, and I see myself using it quite a bit. I could also see the Adarza cat being handy for those more stationary missions, providing additional damage to the squad. There are also new Cavit only mods, which I have not gotten yet, but some of them do look interesting, such as an AoE swipe and a stun. Now, in addition to all the main attractions, we have received some PvP stance mods, a new weapon, a few Archwing weapons, and an Archwing itself, as well as item linking in chat. Oh, and also some upgraded nullifiers. Whoopee! Overall, aside from the Void mission rewards and Archwing, we just received more fluff and visual appealing changes. I was disappointed with the patch, but it has removed some of that burnout as every patch does. I'm also interested in seeing how much of the new star chart has influenced the new player experience, giving me more things to check out later on. The new Warframe, Titania, was not released yet either, so we do have something else to look forward to in the near future. But as always, thanks for checking out my video, hopefully you're enjoying the patch, and as always, be sure to have a good one.